So I want to tell you a quick story, and this is very random. It's about something kind of weird that I did last night, but bear with me. So Julia and I, we had these date night plans to go get a massage and then dinner. We pull up to the massage, we're running a little bit late, we hop out of the Porsche, and as I'm opening the door to the massage place, I hear someone yell, "Yo, Beast!" And I recognize it's probably a subscriber because no one else would call me Beast. That'd be kind of strange, right? And I'm like, "Hey man, we're running late for an appointment, what's up?" And he's like, "Yo, I love the videos. Me and my buddies just opened up this supplement store right here. You should come through." And then I did something that, I don't know why I did this. I set this boundary that didn't need to be set. I was like, "Look man, I have a supplement sponsor, so I wouldn't be able to promote your store." Like, he hadn't asked me to promote it yet. And I could see his face kind of drop. And I felt like a dick. So I walked over, I shook his hand. I was like, "Thank you for watching the videos though, bro. I appreciate you, man." We go in to get the massage, and this feeling just stuck with me. Like, I'm sitting there, this lady is giving me a foot massage. She's rubbing my left pinky toe. And I'm thinking, why would I have been such a dick? Like, I should be grateful whenever I meet a subscriber. And I kind of shut this guy down. So after the massage, I walked over to a supplement store, and I wanted to take the time to talk to him and his buddies. These young hustlers, they opened up this ATX Supplements is called. I'll give them a shout out because they carry Transparent Labs. And there's some really cool dudes. I even ended up buying some pre-workout from them at the end because I wanted to show some support. But the one that y'all sold me, man, they sold me like the high stimulant one that I tried it this morning. It fucking cracks me up, man. Y'all cracks me out. Now look, the reason that I tell you this random story is because I used to be the most awkward communicator. And whenever I walked away from a conversation, I'd always be like,
"Man, that girl definitely thinks I'm a loser now. There's no way those guys think I'm cool."
And it just made me less likely to take risks and go after things in life. I always felt like a low value guy. And bro, that is why the skill of storytelling, which is actually a pretty easy skill to learn, it's this hidden cheat code for life. This is what allowed me to go from a lonely virgin to someone who had a very fruitful dating life before I met my wife. This is what allowed me to build this YouTube channel to 1.6 million subscribers and build several seven-figure businesses built on the back of strong marketing and storytelling. And that's why in this video, I'm gonna share 5 simple yet powerful techniques I use in my everyday conversations that you can easily steal for yourself so you can become a much more effective and attractive communicator. Now, do you see what I did with that first story? That's number 1, the emotional hook. The way you use this is very simple. When you're describing a moment of tension, you want to do it in vivid detail. So rather than, "Yeah, I was kind of a dick and I felt bad about it." No, I was telling you the thoughts going through my head. Why would I talk to someone like this? It made me feel so guilty. I couldn't even enjoy the massage. When I'm telling stories, I'm not trying to tell some technically perfect story. No, I'm just gonna focus on describing the emotions and the thoughts I was having, because that draws people in. It makes them feel like they were actually there with you. And then it makes the resolution of the story so much more satisfying, because you created this tension. Even if you're telling some boring, basic story about how you got a speeding ticket last week, focus on the emotions and watch as people get hooked. Now, y'all might remember that a few weeks ago, I did a video at the Porsche dealership test driving some different vehicles I'm looking to buy. I looked at some 911s, we drove the Macan Turbo EV, one of the Panameras. And it's interesting because that video got a shit ton of comments with guys giving their opinions on different cars, particularly on guys giving their opinions on electric cars versus combustion engines. Check out some of these comments. "I can't believe you call the guy wearing a wetsuit a pussy while you're gonna buy another EV. You gotta stop buying EVs, man. The last thing a channel called How to Be should be doing is owning electric vehicles. The BMW you had was better, but the new Hummer is cool. You're an EV soy boy now, though." Seems like this is a pretty controversial topic, but what you might not realize is that I did that on purpose. I knew that if I went and test drove an electric car and a gas car, people were gonna get fired up and they were gonna engage with the video more. And that's number 2, politely trigger people. When you're talking to people, you don't have to be telling a story. You need to be aware of the general beliefs that this group of people have and then say things intentionally that go against those beliefs. Like, I know my audience is overwhelmingly Trump supporters over, Carmella in the last election. So when I did the video talking about why I was voting for Trump, I made sure to start that video with the skit where I was pretending like I was gonna vote for Kamala to get the people fired up. Or Kanye, he's had a lot of bad press lately, and it's no coincidence that I've mentioned him in several recent vlogs, that I've been listening to him and that he's the go-to music. So always be aware what the people around you are tuned into, and then that way you can playfully trigger them. Not trigger them so that they have some breakdown, but trigger them so that it positions you as an independent thinker who's getting under their skin a little bit, and maybe even agree with them. And at the end you can say, I was just messing with you. We're actually on the same page about this. Being polarizing like this is a good thing. It makes other people immediately respect you as a confident guy, and it just makes the conversation more fun when you're around. All right.
Hey, babe.
Yo, I'm filming.
Don't yell at me. You forgot to do your skincare this morning.
Oh shit, my skincare?
Yeah.
I don't want to forget that. If you don't keep up with your skincare, you end up with this oily, red, acne skin. Luckily for all of y'all, the sponsor of today's video, Tiege Hanley, they got you covered. The amazing thing about Tiege Hanley is they make it super simple to stay consistent. It just takes a few minutes in the morning and before bed, and you're good. I recommend starting with their level 1 system that comes with all the essentials: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and a PM moisturizer to use before bed. Each box even comes with a little cheat sheet that tells you exactly when, in what order, and how much of each product to use. That's clutch. If you're struggling with acne, they have a breakout busting routine called Tiege Clear that gives you everything you need to win the fight against acne. And don't just take my word for it, trust the millions of guys who use Tiege Hanley with over 16,000 5-star reviews. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they got an amazing deal for you. If you click that first link in description, you're gonna get 40% off your first box of Tiege Hanley, and they're even gonna throw in a free gift that's worth $20 on its own. Plus, sign up as a member and you'll get 20% off for life. Just click that first link in description to take your skincare game to the next level. So back when I was in university, my second year, I went to Boston University. My parents lived on the South Shore, so sometimes I would take the subway back to my parents' house and then back to school. And one time I was in the subway back to Boston, and I spotted this really hot girl that I recognized from BU. And she had a spot next to her on the subway that was open. So I sat next to her, I started a conversation. I felt so proud of myself at first, man, because she didn't, walk away. I guess she couldn't have walked away looking back, right? You're kind of locked in next to someone if you sit on the subway. But the weird thing is that it didn't end up being a good thing for me, because after 3 minutes of like, oh, you go to school at BU also, right? Yeah, I thought I'd seen you there. Oh, what classes do you take? I went into the most just like beta boy simp interview mode conversation. Oh, so where's your family from? Oh yeah, you see them often? Oh, yeah, what's your class schedule like this week? The funny thing is I took this risk, but by the time we got back to school, this long, 30-minute subway ride together, I just felt like the biggest loser ever. I got up, didn't get her number, walked away, and I felt like, and that is why I don't talk to girls. Because when I try and I put myself out there, it hurts even worse. Now I know that I'm a loser and that I'm not capable of attracting girls. That's the proof. Now, of course, a few years later, after several more situations like this, every 3 months working up the courage and then failing miserably, all of that pain, all of these missed opportunities, they added up inside of me, and I got to this boiling point where I broke and I realized I have to fucking deal with this part of my life now. And that's when I went balls to the wall, approaching girls and building my confidence from level 0. But it never would have happened without moments like that one on the subway. And that's number 3, the reverse flex. People are so accustomed to other people trying to look cool, right? Most people, they want other people to think that they're cool, and they do what they can to keep up appearances. They try not to make a fool of themselves or say weird things. So when you can tell a story that starts with a really embarrassing low moment of your life and you really own it, it immediately, it makes you relatable. It makes it look like you're not trying to be cool. And that sets you apart as a truly confident person. And if your story ends with the lesson, it makes the lesson actually fucking hit and people actually listen versus, I'm so cool and you should listen to me. If you've tuned into my YouTube channel at all, then you probably maybe you don't realize, but now that I'm saying it, you should realize that I built my YouTube channel on the reverse flex and on telling stories like this and on really honing in on the most painful low points in my life and using those to extract lessons, hard lessons that I learned. I don't know about you, but personally, I can't stand watching a YouTube video of someone who's preaching like they're this perfect leader and you need to listen to them and they're the authority. That always turned me off. Be different. Flex on people, but don't flex on them. Reverse flex on them. So something that's funny is my first few years of YouTube, every clip that I filmed, I might do 5, 10, 20, 30 takes until I got it just perfectly right, or what I thought at the time was perfectly right. And then I realized, because at one time I challenged myself to do a video where every clip I was gonna use the first take. This is back in like 2019. Y'all probably don't remember this video. And when I watched it back, I realized that it was much more organic, relatable, and hilarious than all the videos in the past, because when you don't try and be perfect and you say something weird, and instead of being like, oh, I didn't mean to say that, or I'm gonna do another take, you just fucking own it in that moment. That's raw. That's real. That's number 4, the unplanned humor. You know, there was a moment in a vlog from like a couple weeks ago where I was shaking my shaker bottle in the car with Julia. It is sprayed all over my face. And in the past, I would have been like, we gotta go turn the car around and film this clip again. But now I'm like, nah, man, that's gonna be one of the more relatable moments of the video. People are gonna resonate with that. And the same thing works in everyday conversation. Maybe I'm trying to tell this story and then there's like a baby crying next to me. And instead of being like, now people aren't listening to my story because of this baby, own those moments and be like, man, this baby must really fucking hate this story. I guess this story sucks, man, this damn baby. It turns the negative into a positive. Always accept things that happen socially and own them. So as I was telling you that massage story at the beginning of this video, there's another little technique that I dropped in there. Did you catch it? And don't go rewind the video. I'll just tell you what it is right now. I mentioned as the masseuse, she was working on my left pinky toe, I had this thought. And why would I tell you that my left pinky toe? Because when you mention a random detail in vivid detail, immediately other people, they picture what's happening. And I don't want you thinking too much about my toes, but immediately you can't help but have the image pop into your head. That draws you in, that keeps you hooked. And that's number 5, the random detail drop. And I've actually heard someone say that this is the method you use to make your lies believable, because why would you describe something so vividly if the story wasn't true? And that's not how I'm recommending to do this, but I think that's further proof of how effective this is. And it's super easy. You can do it with any story. Maybe you're talking about this time you were being interviewed and you were really nervous. You could be like, the interviewer, he had this pin that he clicked a few times. It was distracting me. And it's funny because it was like this navy pin with these gold rings around it that said Blossom. Strange pin, right? Now I'm in that interview room with you. And even if the story sucks, I can't help but be a little bit engaged. That being said, drop a comment below and let me know, what is your go-to storytelling or communication technique you use to make sure you're as attractive and magnetic as possible? I'm curious to learn more. And if you're serious about becoming a more confident communicator, you need to watch this video next. It is about how to stop being awkward around girls. Click there to watch that now. If you're new to the channel, click down there because I drop 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.